All right, man, we had to do it.
The Cheesecake Factory.
We're gonna be tackling cheesecake. I had to come in here for myself because I didn't know if the macros on the website were the actual macros per cake or if it's per slice. One slice, it just can't be. It's kind of fitting that it's raining because it's doomsday. One of the questions I'm frequently asked is, how do I come up with recipe ideas? I always tell people the same thing. I take foods I enjoy, deconstruct them, and then reimagine them in a more healthful way. But today, instead of telling you, I'm going to show you what I do to find inspiration and variety for my diet. This is Recipes Reimagined. Cheesecake Factory chocolate cheesecake clocks in at a mind-blowing 1,200 calories, with the majority of calories coming from fat, nearly 70%. It's fully loaded and fully flavored. If you're following a 2,000 calorie diet, one slice would make up about 60% of the day's calories. Let's break down this recipe to see how we can reduce the calories from fat while preserving the rich, delicious chocolate flavor. So I thought about doing a chocolate cheesecake instead of a regular cheesecake for a couple of reasons. With a dark chocolate cheesecake, we don't have to add in too much sugar or as much sugar as a regular cheesecake, just because dark chocolate can't be too sweet. That's more of the milk chocolate route. Plus, for this chocolate cheesecake, we can use real cacao, which is much more healthful for us. It's loaded with magnesium and fiber and antioxidants, so technically, we're making something sweet that's actually good for us. This is a dark chocolate crunch cheesecake. The first thing we have to do is make the crust. So add chocolate graham crackers to a food processor and do a quick pulse blend. We're also trying to concentrate on the saturated fat content. So instead of regular butter, we're gonna be using some vegan, plant-based butter, along with a little bit of olive oil. Add a pinch of salt and a little coconut sugar, then stir well to mix and clump together. Pour it into a spring pan and evenly spread it out using the bottom of a cup and pack it up the sides. All right, so once this is patted all the way down and we got our crust, now we're gonna bake this in the oven for about 10 minutes at 350. All right, now it's time for the most important part, the actual cheesecake. I've got everything here all lined up. You have to add each ingredient and then whip it up. And then add the next ingredient and then whip it up again. But you've also got to be careful of over whipping it. That will result in a cheesecake that's kind of cracked and whatnot. So we got to be careful of that. I'm using reduced fat cream cheese, not fat free, for the base of the cheesecake, which saves us at least 300 calories per slice. I'm gonna whip it up along with 2% Greek yogurt until it's smooth, about 2 to 3 minutes, then sprinkle in coconut sugar and whip it up some more. All right, now for the fun part. This is a shot of espresso, and this is how I'm gonna melt the chocolate. I'm actually gonna take some stevia sweetened chocolate and add it to the espresso. Add a pinch of salt, some chocolate extract if your pockets are deep enough, then whip it together before adding in the chocolate espresso. One by one, add in lightly beaten eggs, then whip it up until it's smooth. And lastly, add dark chocolate powder along with some black Dutch chocolate powder for coloring, then whip everything together. Now our last bit of work here, you're probably thinking like, yo, what about the crunch? Now, we have got some delicious unsweetened cacao nibs. All right, now let's start to bring everything together and build our chocolate cheesecake. Do a light sprinkle of cacao nibs on the crust, then pour the batter on top. All right, this is probably the second most important part of this entire recipe, and that's how do we bake it. First off, set your oven to 325. We want a very low temperature. Now, cheesecake bakes much better through a slow and even process. In order to do that, I like to cook my cheesecake in a water bath. Once you wrap the bottom edges of the spring pan with foil, place it in a deep baking tray, then pour in hot water until it's about 1 inch in height. Now, we're gonna bake this in the oven for about 50 minutes to an hour at 325. Now, after baking, you gotta have some southern patience. Let it cool to room temperature, then chill it in the fridge for at least 4 hours. Oh, smells good, man. Oh, whoa! That boy Kim. Cool, Kim. That boy Kim. That boy Kim. Oh. Give him my props. I don't care. Give him my props today. That looks pretty. That's pretty good.
That's pretty amazing.
That's pretty. If you're feeling motivated, spread store-bought vegan ganache on top, followed by a few more tablespoons of cacao. Here's the nutritional breakdown. Our reimagined dark chocolate crunch cheesecake is now just under 550 calories with 33 grams of fat, 50 grams of carbohydrates, and 16 grams of protein. That's an over 55% reduction in calories, with fat calories reduced by about 2/3. This makes sense since we use reduced fat cream cheese. Saturated fat also took a dive by over 70%. Further, if our cheesecake weighed the same as the original cheesecake, each slice would be about 720 calories with 44 grams of fat, 67 grams of carbs, and 21 grams of protein. That's still a 40% reduction in calories. So yeah, we did it, but how does it taste? All right, Jesse, now it's time for the taste test. Are you ready?
The moment we've been waiting for.
Here we go. It's super chocolatey. I'm gonna let you taste it.
Dude. Come on, man.
Like, I just can't stop sampling it. I think that of all the recipes that we've done so far, like Reimagined, I feel probably the most proud of this one. I think it's a win. What do you think, man?
It's a win, man.
It's a huge win. Hey!
Yeah. Baker Kev.
Well, I've been really trying, Jesse. Stop. The whole goal here is not to sanitize our diets and have everything be super, super healthy. The goal here is just to be able to enjoy food and to embrace food in the different ways that it's prepared, but doing so in calorie conscious ways. We don't have to be obscene and obsessive about the amount of calories to make something taste good. If you're new to the channel, what up? Don't forget to subscribe, and remember you have to ring that bell, ding, 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 to be notified every time we post hot new content here in the FitMenCook kitchen. Until next time, y'all, I want you to keep it healthy, but of course, never, ever boring. Boom! Bye, peeps.